Hey guys, it's Mrs. Golding. I want to walk you through this assignment. I'd like for you to start it today for e-learning, but maybe just shoot for getting 5 done. I think that's a good way to do it because you might have some other missing assignments to work on, which is what I'd like for you to do as well. So let's just look at this and see how to do it. Let me just show you where it is. So in yours, it looks a little different, but it's called Transformations for e-learning. Okay, that's what you're doing. And there's 3 skills that you're practicing. So there's 5 problems on each. So we're going to start with identifying transformations. Okay, remember there's these help videos all along the way if you need them. Okay, so here's the important part. When you are doing these, it says, it'll tell you which figure comes first, but you have to be careful. So this says figure S is the result of transformation on figure R. So that means figure R came first because this is the result. This is what happened because of some stuff that you did to this one. So we need to figure out what happened. So to me, I've got multiple choices. A rotation we haven't really discussed, but I think you can maybe figure it out. A reflection is one that we've talked about, a reflection over the x-axis. So this is the x-axis. Does it look like this flipped down and ended up down? No, it doesn't. A translation 6 units to the right and 4 down. Okay, well, let's see. This point, let's see if I can use a pen here. This little point right here maps, if you kind of look, to right here. See how this little side is the same as this little side? So it doesn't look like I just translated it, because if I did, then the orientation of the object wouldn't have changed. The figure would not have changed in the way that it's oriented. It looks like it's turned, doesn't it? It looks like somebody turned it. So we haven't discussed this in class yet, but let's talk about a rotation. So if indeed this is a rotation, let's figure how many degrees and in what direction it went. So we could talk about going clockwise like this. That's the way a clock goes. Or counterclockwise, which is like this. Okay. So if I go 90 degrees counterclockwise, that's going to put me from this quadrant into this quadrant. So it's almost like if you think about the quadrants making up 360 degrees all the way around, right? So like if I start here and I go 90, I'll end up here and 90. So this would be a total of 180. This would be 270. This would be 360. Okay, that's counterclockwise. So I don't think it's 90. I think it's going to be 180. The interesting thing is it's the same as going 180 clockwise as it is 180 counterclockwise. You see how I'm saying? You could say it either way. So let's submit our answer. And I believe it's going to show it to me. All right, let's look. Is it going to show me? Beautiful, right? Wow. Okay, great. So let's try another one. Again, we're just looking carefully at the beginning. Don't forget to read. Figure X is the result of a transformation on W. So X is the result. So this comes first and then this happens. Again, if you find a point and you try to map it to another point, right? You got to look and say, okay, did that just slide down there? No. Did it reflect? It doesn't seem to have reflected, but it does seem to have rotated. If you can kind of visualize it, doesn't it kind of look like in order to get that there, this whole thing had to rotate? And clockwise, I would say this is clockwise, right? Going to the right is clockwise, going to the left is counterclockwise. So let's figure out how many degrees. So if it starts here, 90 would put me here, and 180 would put me here. Okay, is it starting to make sense? So let's come down here. A rotation, 180 degrees clockwise. Let's try it. oops, let me gotta get rid of my pencil here. There we go. And let's submit that. And now let's watch it. Good. Okay. Let's go to the next section. And again, don't forget, if you get one that's difficult, watch a help video. Okay, so the next section is different. This is so fun. So you have a try it button. Try. This is different than anything we've done on Delta. I like this part. So you can figure out a series of transformations that would map this figure C onto this one. So it's another way of saying this one comes first. You have to read this so you know what comes first. And then we get to try it. So in other words, there's more than one thing happening here. Well, then let's just find a point and let's again look at it. This one, I would say, would map to where? Can you tell? Let's see, maybe we look at a side. Here's a shorter side, right? This is a shorter side. So we could see that that would need to come down there. So in order to get that to even come close, that's going to be hard. I wonder what would happen if we ended up putting it, so if I'm going to kind of think about this shape, what if I put it over here first? Kind of looks like, I don't know, what does it look like? I don't know. Am I doing this backwards maybe? So would it kind of look like that if I rotated that? So if I rotated it, let's say if I took this point, which is negative 8, 8, and I rotated it 90 degrees, where would that end up? Let's see. I think I can figure this out. Let's say 90 degrees clockwise. I pulled up some rules. I typed in my computer 90 degrees clockwise rules. 90 degree clock. Okay, there's a rule. So what it says is you take that point that you have, and if you rotate it, you're gonna switch those X and Y and then make the X negative. So let's try that. Okay, so not that one. Where am I? Too many tabs, Mrs. Golding. Delta Math right here. Okay. So if I'm testing this point right here, then I'm going from that. So then it says, did it say I switch them? Let's look again. Switch them and then make the X negative. Okay, great. So let's go back. I got too many tabs again. Okay, so this is my X. X and Y, switch them. So we want 8, negative 8. Now it says make the X negative, but what it really means is whatever that sign was for the X, take the opposite of it. So the opposite of that positive 8 or that negative 8 makes this a positive. Okay. So this becomes 8, 8. So 8, 8. Okay. So I was off a little bit in the way that I was drawing my picture, but it's pretty close, right? So then it looks like if I start with that, let's see what happens. So let me clear this so that you can see, clear my screen, go back to this. So we're going to take a rotation of how many? Let's try 90. That's what we just tested, right? And then let's just hit try. So let's see what happens. Oh, I like it. Okay. The nice thing about it is it'll stop for me right here. Okay. So that's nice, right? So 8, 8. See how that ended up there? Okay. That's what I was trying to test. Now I want to take this point that we were just looking at right here. Sometimes it's overwhelming to look at the whole thing, so I can just look at a point, and I need it to come right down here. So in order for that to happen, I need to flip it, right? And that's a reflection. So let's clear this. And it says a rotation of this about the origin, right? So it goes about this, and then followed by a reflection, but I have to tell it where to reflect. I don't want to use the y-axis. I want to use the x-axis because I want it to flip down, right? So the x-axis. Let's hit try and see what happens. So shoop and yeah, and it helps if you make the noises, by the way. Okay, let's try another one of those. And again, there's help videos here. Let's go new problem. Determine a series of blah, 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 that would map figure J onto K. So which one comes first? J, right? J comes first. So, what are you thinking? Oh, let's just look. When it becomes overwhelming, just take it and look at one point. It's like life. Like when life is overwhelming, just start with one thing and figure that part out. It looks like in the end, that's like, if you think about what that looks like, it's the tippy top of the pointy. I don't know how to say it, but it looks like it ends up right here at the tippy top of the pointy. That's a really weird way to say that. That's not mathematical. To go from here to here, okay, it looks like it just shifts down, but you got to maybe look at another thing. So I'm going to look at this side and this side. See how those are it's almost like you had a triangle, this big triangle, and somebody cut a corner off of it right here. See that? So then I'm imagining now this is this shape with that corner cut off. So I'm looking at it like, okay, it obviously had to flip somehow and then slide down. See how that looks? So you just kind of have to use your brain and kind of just mentally figure out what's happening. The nice thing about this, though, is you can try different things. So let's say it's a flip. I'm going to use this again. Well, a flip is a reflection. Okay, where do I want it to reflect? So go back over here. Does it look like it flipped down here, or does it look like maybe it flipped over here? I'm saying the Y, right? The Y is this one going this way, followed by a slide or a translation, but I don't know how far. So let's just leave it at that. Ooh, I have to. Okay, so get rid of this. Good. That's good to know. So if you only want to do one thing at a time, don't even start it. So hit try. Okay, I love it. Now I can see I'm going to slide, but I have to figure out how far. From here, let's go down here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. So we're going to, let me clear that and hit this. So we were right, I think, about a translation, but now we know down, and we're going to go 4 units down. So let's hit try. You see, the sounds help, and then you get it right. Okay, so that's good to go. So let's go back to this other part, and I'm going to go to the last section. And again, I only need you to try 5 today. You can do any of them, like 5 of the first section or the second, or like a combination, whatever you want to do. So here it says this figure right here is translated 5 units. What are the coordinates of the image of point B? Oh boy. Oh, not bad. See, it's giving me this point, and it says I'm going to translate it to the right 5 units. Oh, nice. This is kind of cakey. So if I take this and I say I'm going to take him and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All it's asking is what is that point that it ends up at? So I just come over here. Let's find the X value first, and then the Y value here. And I got 7 for the X. And for the Y, I got a -8. So we write that 7, -8. And so I'm going to come down here. It's a ordered pair. Clear that. Give me that. Give me that. 7, -8. I'm sure. Yes, I am. Oh, beautiful. So I'm not see. Okay, great. There you go. It just shows it. So I think that section will be pretty easy for you to do when you look at it. Now, if it gives you a rotation, that's when you're going to need to have a little extra. I'm going to take this right here, these rules about rotation, and I'm going to put them in Canvas. If you want to give them a try it. These are the hardest part. But if you just want to skip those, it's okay too, because we're not together yet, but we'll give them a try. Okay, let me come back here, and I hope you have a great day and get lots of good things done. See you hopefully tomorrow.